If I was starting over in 2026 to become a real estate transaction coordinator, here's what I would do. First of all, welcome or welcome back. My name is Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lily, like the flower, because we are learning and growing together. And in this conversation, I want to bring up the fact that many of you are pivoting careers, starting over, just want a fresh start, something with more flexibility, more location independence. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing this independently for 8 going on 9 years. Almost 10 if you count the 2 I did it when I was working at my office. But I used to work in an office. I had a traditional 9 to 5. It started off as a part-time job, evolved into a 9 to 5 position until I quit my job in 2018. And ever since that moment I said I quit, I feel like this journey has just been, I've been riding this wave of calmness, stillness, chaos, grief, and having to manage all of that, as well as learning how to run a business, maintaining your business, growing your business, requires so much more than I ever could have imagined. So if you're sitting at home thinking, I'm tired of my job, I've been doing this for so long, I just need something to stick, I'm going to provide you all with some tips, and it may not even be all real estate related. I want to give you guys the tools that you can take out into the real world and apply them anywhere. Although real estate is the vehicle that I'm using to get this message out, I don't want to pigeonhole anyone into joining real estate just because the lights and the shiny bright lights and money that is being portrayed on the internet through TV shows, reality TV shows, HGTV network. That is, you're seeing the finish line. You're not seeing the behind the scenes grind. If you've been subscribed to this channel, you know my journey. It has not been linear. It has not been easy. And every season comes with its own demands. So if you're in a season right now where you're feeling pulled into real estate, definitely stick around. If you're in a season where you feel like you're just being pulled out of your career and you're considering a shift into real estate, stick around. If you're someone wanting to quit your job, start over and start fresh, but don't know what you want to do, maybe real estate is an option, stick around. I'm here to provide as many tips and tools and resources as I can with my 22 plus years of experience. And like I say, I'm still learning and growing. I don't ever want to position myself as a guru or a complete expert. No, use your own tools, discernment, of course, experiment, try, do, start. It's all about how you take action. I can give you the tips. I could break it down step by step, but are you going to follow directions? Are you going to follow instructions? Are you going to be disciplined enough to wake up when you don't feel like it and push past those feelings? I get in my feelings a lot. I get in my feelings every single day. You think I want to sit down and audit files all day? No, I don't. So when I had those moments in my career, especially during, seasons where we had to sit down as a collective global nation, the globe had to sit down, I took those moments and said, if this is not what I want to do, I have to change. I have to do the dirty work. I have to put in the hours, try different things until something sticks according to what I deem not just worthy of my time, but something that aligns with my career, aligns with my personality, while also considering the capacity I have to shift and change and try new things, as well as the money. Let's not forget, you have to invest in yourself. Be your first investor in all that you do. Time, money, effort, communication, okay? So with that said, if I was starting over with transaction coordination in 2026 and beyond, this is what I would do. So grab a pen, paper, take some notes, save this video, make sure you're subscribed before we move forward, because we're going to continue to have dialogues like this, okay? I don't want to leave you all hanging. I also don't want to sell you guys this pipe dream that isn't going to come true. There are ways into it, but if it doesn't work out for you, it's not the end of the world, okay? Just keep trying, keep going. Schedule a discovery call with me so we can really strategize and get you on the right path. Because even though I'm giving you guys these tips, there's so many more that you can learn and figure out and try that, I would be here all day talking if that were the case, if I shared everything I knew all in one video. Maybe I will do that one day. So that's why you have to subscribe, because you never know. I might just drop a 24-hour vlog. We shall see. But with that said, if I was starting over in 2026, the first thing I would do is break down why. Because you got to get right with yourself. And if you believe in God, you got to get right with God, your mind, your heart, and make sure all of that is connected. Because it's one thing to job hop. When you're job hopping, I look at that as just straight up survival, which many of us right now are in a state of survival. So I understand. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, if you're pivoting, if you're at a pivotal point in your career that's requiring you to really just dive into something more serious, you don't just want to dive into this blindly or just continue to job hop, because you're going to come into this in survival mode. And I want to alleviate some of that survival mode so we can enter this with a clear path. And that's kind of a mistake I made in the beginning. I knew my why. It was very straightforward, basic, and I still uphold that why to this day, and I've updated it. But for the most part, I started my transaction coordinator business out of survival. And if that's how you get started, that's how you get started. But I made the mistake of staying in survival. I didn't evolve, and then we had the pandemic in 2020. So I had only been self-employed for almost 2 years until everything changed overnight. So I never really got to evolve in what it is I wanted to do or say, because I was so scared. I was so afraid to lose it all. I went back to this is all I know. I'm going to stick to it and just hold on to it as long as I can. But deep down, I knew there was something more out there for me. And that's how I found coaching. More about that later. But if I was starting over, I would get really serious about why I want to pivot into real estate, or why I want to pivot my career. Get real specific, get real. You might cry, you might laugh, you might have some regrets, you might have some insecurities that resurface. That's all normal. And go through those emotions, feel those feelings. If you feel like you can't bear them alone, maybe make this a group project where you sit with a friend or a group of people, colleagues. Perhaps you're working with a therapist, a coach. And what I'm saying is, you have to make this more so, if not all, about you in this process. And that's not selfish. I don't mean that in a selfish way, because if you're constantly going out in the world and only serving others, it's eventually going to consume you, and you're going to lose sight of who you are. So if you go out in the world and serve others, it's best to do it from a full cup instead of doing it from an empty cup. That's why I say it's not selfish if you want to do something for you. I just turned 42, and if I didn't make the choices I made 10 years ago to change my life, I don't think I would have made it this far in life, mentally, emotionally, even physically, because I always gave myself a deeper reason to keep going. I didn't always allow my negative circumstances or my tough times keep me down. I mean, I got down, but I didn't stay there. So I dug and crawled and got my way out of those situations because I knew why I was doing it. When you don't have a clear why, it can feel very overwhelming to navigate this world in any capacity. So know your why, first and foremost. Next, education. I always stress education because it's so important. Now, many of you might already have your license, might have all the certifications, your degrees, you've taken courses, but then you don't know what to do. Well, before we get there, I want to talk to the people who are starting from the ground up, because education is important. There are classes at the local community college that you can take in real estate. Here in San Francisco, if you live in San Francisco, if you're born in San Francisco, I believe you get free education at the community college. So take as many courses as you can in business, in real estate, anything related to whatever it is you want to pivot in, even if it's culinary or sports, medicine. Find access to education as best as you can. If you can't leave the house, go online. Join Facebook groups, join communities, join my community. Sign up for the cheapest course you can afford. Even if you don't think it's right for you or wrong, but if it's related to what you're trying to study, put in the effort. That's the effort. And I know it can be scary to invest your money when you barely have it, but I'm telling you, when I made those commitments and I said, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to validate myself and solidify this decision that I'm making in real estate. I was tired of working at my 9-to-5, so I had to find a way out. I got my real estate license. I saved the money. I stayed in the house. I did extra work to make more money until I made it happen. I spent my weekends, my nights studying, going to classes, in person, online. I was doing it all. And some courses I signed up and never finished. Some courses and marketing tips and resources I downloaded but never looked at. So you're gonna make those mistakes. You're going to waste money. And the reason I put waste in quotes is because nothing is ever a waste. Everything is done for a reason. Those times that I wasted money, quote unquote, I look at those as learning lessons. Like, okay, won't make that mistake again. I don't have to buy every single course, but I can do my research and say, okay, I like these top 3. Let me ask some people if they've taken these courses. Let me do my research and contact people if they can vouch for these people that are hosting these courses, versus just buying every single course. If that's your ministry, go for it. But there are ways to navigate if you don't want to waste money. But if you're investing in your future towards the goal of real estate or transaction coordination, starting a business, then nothing is a waste. Nothing, okay? Because on a deeper level, if you want to go there, you're investing in someone else's business, and you may see some flaws in their course or some flaws in the way they're promoting it. And you may be able to provide a service for them to improve on that. If you're good at social media, provide them with social media tips. If you're good at math, provide them with some equations to make this better for the algorithm. I don't know. Or you may say, hey, this is a cool course. I took this other course. I can do better. I can combine these two and make my own course and make my own business with this. There's a multitude of opportunities in all that we do. You just have to do the thing to get to the thing, okay? So next, we know our why, we're educating ourselves, and now we want to figure out when we want to make this happen. Make it real, okay? You may have your target date of when you want to quit your job, start this real estate career, or start this new business, start this new job in your mind already, which is great. That could even be placed as number 1. Having a timeline. But also keep in mind, be flexible with your timeline. Be as flexible, have a little bit of flexibility, because plans change, that you might be redirected. Rejection is redirection. Let's keep that in mind. You may have a target date of January 1st, 2027. Okay? And at the time of this recording, it is May 2026. So that's a little over 6 months of planning, preparation, taking action, getting educated, networking, building community, joining communities. That's a lot of time. A lot of time. In fact, you could do it a lot sooner. But 6 months is plenty of time to get all of that done. And now that I have my target date, it just got real. I cannot waste any more time. So even though I know it could be done faster, I still want to utilize this next 6 months to set myself up for success. Which brings me to my next point. What is your definition of success? Is it what you see from me? Is it what you see from other content creators, other entrepreneurs, books you've read? No. Your definition of success is what you define it to be. That is the greatest lesson I ever could have learned in my early 30s when I just quit my job and was absorbing every business podcast, book, video, course as I possibly could. I don't remember who told me this, but it was mentioned a lot of the times amongst the entrepreneurs that I followed on social media, the podcasts I listened to, is you define what success is for you. The moment I did that, everything flipped in my head. I was like, yes, because I was striving and working my butt off and my tail and getting nowhere, trying to become this millionaire. Like, I want to be a millionaire, but I also want to be able to sleep in, not have to really wear a bra when I work. You know, I want to be able to go to all my family functions and do these things. It was clashing. What I really wanted was what I just mentioned. The millionaire part was my ego talking to me. Oh, I could do that. I'm going to do that. But I was waking up every day not moving like a millionaire. So I started watching the content of millionaires and how they speak, what they do. They have no most, okay? Majority have lost connection with their family, or they don't spend as much time with their family. They can only go to a couple of events, not all, for their nieces and nephews or their kids. They can't have kids because they are too busy. They own a home, but they're never home. They're on the road traveling, but they're never on vacation. And these are things I value. I value vacation. I value my peace of mind. I value sleep. I value my family. I value me. But if I'm willing, am I willing to sacrifice all that for the journey of millionairehood? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that I still can't get on that journey. But I had to do some real soul searching in terms of, why am I putting this pressure, this immense amount of pressure on myself to become a millionaire when I don't need that type of lifestyle to be successful or even happy? I really don't. And I was looking at my vision board, the cars, the vacations, all those things, and I was like, I've gone on vacations with no money because I'm so blessed and grateful to have a supportive family and community of friends and people that want to take care of me, and vice versa, that I have taken care of in times when they were down. And that has been the number one lesson, is community. And that's my fifth and final point for this conversation. We're going to continue these dialogues as we go, but community. Yes, it is about who you know, and having that network of people that you can connect with, whether it's people you've went to school with, went to college with, graduated with, have worked with, play sports with, joined clubs with, gone to the club with. Let's not forget that. Community is so important because these are the people that you're going to learn and grow with. These are the people that you're going to support when they're down. And these are the people that are going to support you when you're down. And these are the people you're going to celebrate your wins with when you're up, or when things are just in motion. The reason I stress community is because when I first started my business in 2018, I had no idea what I was doing. I had watched I got my real estate license, I got my certifications, I got my associate's degree. I completed a lot of circles that were just pending for years. I absorbed every podcast, video, like I mentioned earlier. I did the work. I changed my habits. I'm fixing my bed every day. Day one of working from home and having a business, I didn't know what to do. I froze. I was just like, what do you mean I don't have anywhere to go? So a lot of people don't factor in your mind changes. You have to, all those old habits and ways you think have to disintegrate and move out of your body. And that took a lot of time. And I didn't know that. No one was really talking about that because I wasn't talking to people in my industry that had done that. I wasn't reaching out to people for advice, for support. So that was something I lacked, I would say, the first 5 years of my business. I had no community. Eventually I started joining Facebook groups. I started reaching out to people and saying, I want to get to know more people within the real estate community. So let me DM them. Let me start adding them, following what they're posting on social media. Maybe I can get some inspiration from them. And eventually that led to my podcast. And remember, I mentioned earlier, I was starting to feel anxious about only doing transaction coordination because I had done that for so long. And I knew I love doing creative stuff. I love posting on social media. I love being online. Let me create a platform within the real estate industry where I can start to give back to people, start to tell my story, provide tips that people weren't sharing. My whole motto was no gatekeepers, no gatekeepers. And that was the start of this, and eventually I'm still doing transaction coordination, don't get me wrong, but the ultimate goal is for this, my coaching and other avenues of income, to eventually replace the TC business so I can give back more to you all. And had I not made all of those decisions, had I not made all of those mistakes and wasted all that money, quote unquote, if you're just listening, it wouldn't have gotten me to this place where I am today at 42, still building, still learning and growing. But had I not been curious and tapped into that curiosity and started reaching out to people, I would have never built a community out of this. And through that, I started a podcast. I interviewed as many people as I possibly could within this space that I had access to, that I had the capacity to as well. You can go check it out, the Keys Podcast, formerly Transaction Care Podcast. It's on a hiatus right now. I don't know if the podcast will ever come back or if I need to reinvent that. But for now, my focus here is YouTube. But even before the podcast, I started this YouTube channel. And through that, it has opened me up to this world of people and community like yourself watching right now. Please drop a hello or something in the comments. I want to engage with you. I want to know who's watching on the other end, because I went from complete isolation, loneliness, to I'm now helping people navigate this space who are wanting to start over, who are wanting freedom, flexibility. And I can't guarantee that in any decision you make, because you have to do the work. You have to put in the hours, the minutes, the sacrifice up front in order for all of this to work. Even if I gave you A through Z, 1 through 10, step by step, you have to follow through. Okay, the funds are in the follow-up. I'm always going to say that the funds are in the follow-up. Those are just some things that I would do. And community is something I stress at the end, because that is my focus right now, is building my community, building space for all of us to learn and grow together that is safe, welcoming. There isn't a lot of pressure to show up, but there is enough accountability for you to know I can't waste any more time. This is real. This is real life. It's more than real estate. It is real life. And that's why I brought back my community platform, where you can join below. It's hosted on the Patreon platform. So if you're familiar with Patreon, it's a community-based platform where you can post content for free exclusively for your members or your supporters, as well as set up paid tiers. So people can pay for additional, whether it's content, coaching, resources, tips, access to you one-on-one in a group setting. You can make it whatever you want. And maybe that's something you could consider as well, is like, you may not have to pivot so drastically into a new career. You might just need to remix the current career you're already in. Whether it's you become a coach, you become an expert, you start a content channel on YouTube. You can get paid from social media. Let's not forget that. I use YouTube and TikTok and all of these platforms as a lead generator. But on the back end, you can also make money from AdSense on YouTube. You can make money on TikTok from the creator program, as long as you meet those thresholds and show up consistently. It's all about consistency, taking action, not being afraid, moving past those fears, moving past those emotions of, I can't afford it. You never know who's going to bless you with a blessing to afford it. You know how many times I've said, if I just had that $250 extra to pay for this course, and then randomly I get a random Zelle from family, or maybe a credit from something I purchased a long time ago, even if it was just like a quarter of it, I'm that much closer to paying for it. And these are mindsets you have to adapt into your world, into your everyday thoughts, that things are possible. Things are possible. It may not look or come to me the way I envisioned, but it's going to come to me. And I have to remind myself of this every single day. That doesn't ever go out of practice for me, especially on those days where I'm super, super down. I go back to my why, and I keep my why clear on every time I open my computer, it's there. Every time I open that specific document that's helping me with my to-do list, it's there. So consider all of those things. Put it into action. Let's coordinate. Visit my website, transactioncare.com. join my mailing list, join my community, and set up a discovery call with me right now. It's free. I just gave you 3 free resources. Do I have paid things that you can pay for to work with me, more in depth and one-on-one or in a group setting? Absolutely, I do. We all have to make money. But right now, I just gave you 3 free resources. 4 if you subscribe to this channel and or leave a comment. I want to help as many people as I possibly can, but I also know it's up to you to do the work. It's not up to me. Okay, so let's figure something out together. You and I will sit down, strategize, get something into play on a basic generic level. And then if we want to work together and continue that working relationship, we absolutely can. But for now, just do what you need to do. See if what I just provided for you will work, and go for it. Start today. Start right now. There's no more time to waste. This is real life, okay? This is more than real estate. This is real life. So with that said, thank you. If you guys have any questions or comments or heck yeah, drop them in the comment. I would love to hear from you. Please, the comments also help push out the videos. So the more comments we get, the better it shows the algorithm, the computer, all that stuff, how we're doing. And I really just want to connect with you all on a personal level. I'm going to post in the comments my website. It's going to be the pinned comment. So there's no excuses on ways that you can connect with me, okay? I want to help you. It doesn't matter what stage you're at, if you have no money, if you have all of the money. I give the same information to everyone at all levels, okay? And the same level of encouragement, the same level of support. And I customize whatever it is you need. We can customize a plan specific for you, your budget, your needs, your capacity, okay? Let's coordinate. Visit transactioncare.com. And if you don't have any other questions or concerns, this has been another episode of Transaction Care. My name is Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lily, like the flower, because we are learning and growing together. Care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon. And yep, watch these other videos here and click my smiley face so you can subscribe.